Hi there, it's Liz. This February, I had a free week, an urge to escape London, and some budget I didn't really plan to spend on travel. But there was a US visa expiring soon, and a wild thought. Okay, if I was completely crazy, I would just go to New York. And just like that, I booked the tickets and a hotel for 5 days in New York. First time in Americas, in the US, or New York City. After the wave of initial excitement, something surprising started to creep in. Severe anxiety of this trip, which was super strange. I've been traveling solo since I started making anime. Here is baby Liz on her first ever flight and trip to Turkey in 2020. Since then, I went on more than 50 beautiful trips abroad, and a big chunks of them solo. It gives me so much freedom and confidence that I can explore the world on my own. But this trip, oh boy, my brain tried to calculate all possible risk and problem that could occur. What if I go crazy from boredom flying to New York? What if they don't let me in on border control? What if a weirdo harasses me on New York subway? What if I see a person with a gun? I also had a continent-size claustrophobia. What if all flights are cancelled? Do I need to swim through Atlantic Ocean to go back home? I was even questioning how I gonna pay for groceries, how I gonna find restaurants or places to go. I know it sounds bizarre, but it felt so real for me at the time. But New York decided to play it nice with me. Starting with my flight, it was maybe the most comfortable and cozy flight ever. Even though it was 6 hours, it passed just like... I fully watched American Next Top Model documentary. I was a bit disappointed, but it really helped to pass the time. My border control took like 2 minutes. I also felt so cool and special when I landed to JFK, like I'm a movie star or a businesswoman coming here to discuss my real estate. Sadly, I couldn't film there, but they had this amazing art above border control. Absolutely beautiful. Wow, there is some culture in America. My subway trip was also quick, comfortable, clean, easy. I was also blessed with a classic performance that you often see on social media. People were really engaged with whatever was going on in the train, surprisingly. I still don't understand the catch of my hotel. Somehow, I booked the biggest possible hotel room in Manhattan. It was 30 square meters for like average market price. Giant, spacious room, very clean. Everything worked as expected. It looked very nice, and it was in such a great location. I basically lived on Broadway, 5 minutes away from Times Square, 10-15 minutes away from Central Park. How? So after my check-in and some rest, it was time to run to the city. And I know, as cheesy as everybody says, but it absolutely does feel like you're in a movie. And my first surprised impressions were not even about the scale of Manhattan, the skyscrapers. They were about the most mundane things that you can find in every city, like traffic lights, road signs, buses. Legit, my first vibey videos of New York are of these flying yellow traffic lights, because they're like in the movies. And the next second, I see this yellow bus coming from the corner. And I'm like, what? First, there are these school buses in New York City. For some reason, I thought they're like in some distant states. Second, it's exactly like in the movie, and oh my god, it actually functions like a school bus. What? What a surprise. And then I kind of had the opposite surprise, because Times Square felt smaller than it's on the screen. I had the similar experience with Shibuya crossing in Tokyo, when it's often filmed with like a fish eye or from the bottom, so it seemed like it takes half of the city, and it doesn't. And here I look around, and obviously Times Square is big and there are a lot of screens and ads, but it's not as giant and annoyingly crowded as I expected. And for me, this is one of the best praises a touristy square can get. I absolutely hate crowds. They make me extremely tired. And here I didn't feel it at all. It was still a lot of people, but it was very comfortable and very nice, warm, touristy ambience. If you follow me on Instagram and saw me traveling to any country in the world, you know that there is a visual element that just takes a special place in my heart, and these are flags. I just love flags. I find them extremely cinematic. The dynamics, the movement, the vision what vision? And of course, Midtown Manhattan doesn't disappoint. Basically every building I went by had an American flag on it, but there is a new cinematic spice trope in my library: New York pipes. I believe the subway steam pipes, but I need to check it out. They don't stink too much, so I had all possible shots of the pipe in the building, me in the pipe, me inside of the steam, me near the steam, me behind the steam. I'm coming back for you, pipes. It was so nice to see the skyscrapers drowning up in the clouds, and the main skyscraper was, of course, Empire State Building. I didn't know when and where I'm gonna see it, and when I saw it, they call it the Big Three, right? Empire State Building, Big Ben, and the Eiffel Tower. And that exactly felt like seeing Eiffel Tower peeking somewhere from a beautiful corner in Paris. Fun fact about Empire State Building: for the first 20 years of my life, I was sure that Chrysler Building is Empire State Building, because it's also very beautiful, is in many TV shows. So I was like, yeah, that's a cool building, that must be Empire State Building. It's not. And I finished my first day in New York with a night city walk. I obviously wanted to see the night lights, but it was also a bit of an experiment. How safe will I feel on one of the busiest streets? It's not police report statistics, but I felt much safer there than I feel in London, in my area. It's still corporate offices place, a lot of shops open everywhere, many lights around you. As far as I know, nobody steals phones from people's hands in New York, so I felt really confident walking around, taking a lot of pictures, stopping in every corner, looking for one more flag somewhere. And of course, my way home lays through, you guessed it, Times Square. I like that night shots from Times Square look like a professional photo shoot or like a game streamer neon vibes room. There is just so much light coming from the ad screens. Please, somebody come with me next time and you will get professional photo shoot from the Times Square. All my days were structured the same. I had a first morning chunk, some local breakfast, my first walk and wander around the city, then coming back, resting in the hotel for a good hour or two. On a good day, I would also nap. Then, after this good rest, I have the second chunk of exploring the city in the afternoon and evening. I didn't really go out to party or drink at night. Really wanted to be fresh and sober to get the most of the city, and it was exciting enough without any external boosts. I'm also well aware that I didn't go to 70 unique best hidden gem touristy spots in New York you must visit before you die. Straight away, I was sure I will visit New York again. I don't find it fun or interesting to run around trying to tick the boxes. Surely there are so many more places to visit, but I will just come to them at my own pace. So, after I got my first bagel in New York, I ran to Central Park. I was excited that there was some icy snow leftovers here and there, but we're gonna see much better snow later, so let's skip it for now. Just neighboring the park, there is the iconic mat, and for me, even more iconic stairs of the Queen of Upper East Side, Blair Waldorf. The mat itself is insanely big, and pro tip, don't try to see any big museum in one go is just impossible. You're gonna get tired and bored, and art will be a very annoying chore. So I picked a few favorite rooms. Of course, I ran to the Impressionist room first and saved myself for the American wing because of course I'm in the US. I was really happy to see the... what's the name? I know it's Giverny Monet, like this one, bridge over a pond of water lilies. Oh, I love it. I know that one day I will get to Giverny. It's like 1 hour away from Paris, so I filmed my future TikTok transition here. During my night explorations of the Fifth Avenue, I saw the miracle of the Empire State Building. I had no idea that it shines the same way as the Eiffel Tower. Every first 5 minutes of the hour, the Eiffel Tower shines extremely bright with sparkles. And Empire State Building did this too. I don't know if that happens every hour, every evening, but it was shining and transitioning of the light on this nice architecture. Oh my god, I just stood there for 5 minutes straight with my mouth open. And on my way home, I went through the Rockefeller Center. This building has a special place in my heart because of Liz Lemon and 30 Rock. She's my role model and life coach. And as a special treat, they still had an ice rink. Because it's such a major problem in London, they remove all Christmas decorations as soon as it's midnight, December 26. People throw away Christmas trees, no ornaments, no lights. Why? There are no other colors till the blossoms. It's absolutely grey, depressing and sad. So thanks God, New York and Rockefeller Center decided to keep this beautiful ice rink to still have a dash of happiness in a very grey weather and season. And the last stop of the day was Radio City, where Kevin McAllister was also alone in the Big Apple. Day 3 was the most miserable. It was again grey, cloudy, rainy, but the wind was so strong that it felt like these small raindrops are getting inside of your bones and you're freezing from inside out. I felt like inside of the ice cube. I still, of course, wanted to take my pictures and videos, so my hands had to suffer for art. And to be honest with you, I'm afraid it was worth it. I absolutely adore this contrast between grey corporate skyscrapers and this bright, lively street food. Obviously, when the weather is not treating you well, there is a very good plan B. Actually, you know what? It was my plan A. I would go to MoMA regardless, but everybody else decided to hide from the rain there as well. But I was on a mission. I knew that somewhere deep in the galleries there is a Marc Chagall painting. If you follow me on Instagram, you should. You know that in any country, in any museum, in any gallery, I'm looking for one painter, and it's Marc Chagall. Like me, he was born in the Belarusian lands, and I'm absolutely moved and inspired by his life story and art, and that he references Belarus and Vitebsk, his hometown, so much in his paintings. And his piece in MoMA is no exception. It's called I and the Village, and it was painted when he already lived in Paris, based on his memories of the childhood in Belarus. I was honestly quite happy to see a big crowd in front of this painting. For many historical reasons, Belarus doesn't have a lot of representation in world arts and culture, and I just love that Chagall breaks this pattern. Then I saw the famous Red Room from Matisse that I actually saw once in Paris. What was amazing about that Paris exhibition, that Red Room includes around 7 paintings of Matisse, and they found all the paintings all over the world and they brought them together in a single room so you could see every piece connected to it. And another link between Paris and New York, giant lilies wall painting from Claude Monet, and it's in MoMA and in Orangerie in Paris. These rooms are extremely crowded in both cities, just beware. Okay, then we have another night of wandering around New York, popping into some random shops, and you guessed it, taking pictures of pipes and flags, and fog and steam and pipes and flags and Radio City and pizza and flags again. Saturday. Old habits die hard, and every Saturday from the ripe age of 5, I started my weekend with a market. I'm absolutely convinced that local markets are the most natural forms of human connection, trade, conversation, gossip exchange, and just human existence, honestly. And New York was no exception. I went straight away to Union Square Market. I started my journey with hot, warm insider for $4. Before I saw one for $3.50 and then another one for $3. I just really hope that the cup is getting smaller with the price and I wasn't scammed. There was something so surreal to see farmer apples in the middle of a big apple. Oh wow. Again, a very nice contrast for the pictures. Also saw local squirrels, which are much more shiny, hairy and fatter than London ones. I hope they feed them well. After that, my plan was to go to Soho and NoHo areas, and oh my god, first time in 4 days, I saw a small bleak ray of sunshine somewhere. And it felt nicely familiar there. You don't have the skyscrapers, there are a lot of nice restaurants and shops around. This area felt much more laid back, chill and very lively. Very East London-esque, exactly as I like it. Taking advantage of nice weather, I moved downtown to the iconic Brooklyn Bridge. It was actually the busiest place I went to because of its natural bottleneck. And I don't know, it was crowded, a bit noisy, picture and video composition was out of my hands, so I was just, okay, screw that. More importantly, it was the first spot where I saw the Statue of Liberty. And I realized how far it is, and it takes more than an hour on trains, buses, ferry. So I found a more elegant solution. Well, was it necessary? No. Oh, was it worth it? Absolutely yes. Honestly, I think the best money I spent in New York. If you have some budget to splurge and you're thinking, should I go to like a Michelin star restaurant? Should I go out for drinking? Girl, no. Go and take that helicopter ride. It's absolutely unforgettable. The main highlight of the trip. I didn't plan to take a helicopter ride. My friend mentioned it, and obviously I saw some helicopter in the air, and I was like, you know what? You only live once. I was also insanely lucky to have my group with 2 couples, and I was alone, so they put me in the front seat next to the pilot. And after 4 grey and miserable days, we finally saw some sun on the horizon, the shiny reflecting Manhattan skyscrapers, of course flying around the Statue of Liberty, and coming back. Logistically, the whole flight was around 20 minutes. I know it's not very long. It cost me $350. I will leave the link of the company below. Trust me, with 30 subscribers, it's not sponsored, but let's grow this number for the next time I'm coming to New York, and maybe we're gonna have a grand sponsorship here. Yeah, my splurge vibes kinda kept going, so I took a taxi to a local ramen place, which was absolutely amazing. What a day. Yeah, after 2 desserts and a good nap, I topped it off with some window shopping on the 5th Avenue. And we finally made it to the snowy part of my trip. This was supposed to be my last full day before departing back to London. Let's see how it went. I saw some snowflakes in the forecast, so I went back to Soho, back to shopping, because I rarely buy things as I see them. As soon as I arrived, it actually started to snow. I know. I'm publishing this video somewhere in April, I hope. So it's not precisely the Christmas vibes, but I love snow and I love winter to pieces, and every snow day for me is just a blessing from the skies. I was so happy running around Soho, trying new things, filming my videos, then went for some nice lunch to a taco place, and I received this message of happiness. We are sorry to advise that your flight has been cancelled due to severe winter weather conditions. What? What do you mean? What do you mean? I absolutely started panicking, looking at the flights, and all flights from New York were cancelled for 2 days straight, exactly as I was scared before going on this trip. It's coming true. To swim through Atlantic Ocean to go back home. Media was spreading the news that this was a severe blizzard, once in a decade, like never before. And I'm looking outside and I see just a few snowflakes. What do you mean? I absolutely entered the panic mode. I went to my flight tickets and I see that they rebooked me in just a day from Boston. Okay, it's of course not a different coast of the US, but I didn't have any plans to go to Boston. Oh my god. So, after spending 4 hours on the support line, 5 AI chatbots and service assistants, all flights cancelled for 2 days, $30 spent on the stress taxi home. It took 2 people to finally rebook for another flight from New York to London, but 3 days later. Oh my god. My main goal was just to book a flight. The airline, of course, didn't have any clear guidance on what is going to be reimbursed. Is it hotels, food, what kind of hotels? Is there a limit? But luckily, I have a partner whose hobby is to fight with insurance and credit card companies. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get the money back. That's fine. So I just extended the stay in my own hotel. Luckily, it was available. I didn't have to move even to a different room. So that was amazing. Of course, all this admin and anxiety took away half of my day in New York. But I knew that I just needed some rest, calm, and I was just watching Sex and the City till the rest of the day, honestly. After finally making peace that I'm so poor, I'm stuck in New York, I just decided to have fun. And what is the most fun place in New York, you ask me? Of course, the Times Square. Obviously, those who ran to Times Square wanted to enjoy the snow. People were taking pictures with their friends, families, kids were playing with snowballs. I also saw the first snowman. And again, the studio lights of the Times Square never disappoint. I genuinely believe this is the most beautiful place to see snow in New York, because you see all the highlights of the snow falling on you. Absolutely magical. Also, the mayor of New York effectively closed the roads for non-essential cars, and it was just empty. When else will you have a chance to just walk down the Broadway in the middle of the avenue? As a reward for your attention span, we are finally going together to the Central Park. And oh my god, this is the winter I was promised as a child in Belarus. At this point, it snowed non-stop for 24 hours and everything was crystal clear, white, soft, crispy. I absolutely have no words to describe how beautiful was Central Park in snow. Every tree had a soft, fat hat of snow. People around had so much fun. I saw people skiing, sliding from the slopes, making even more snowmen, taking pictures, FaceTiming to their family. Oh, this was such a wholesome day. I absolutely felt like Kevin stuck in New York for Christmas, and it was extra magical white Christmas. This one might be controversial, but New York felt so much more friendly and welcoming than London. It has this untouchable, undescribable sense of community that I haven't felt for so long. You typically feel it in smaller villages or in warm countries like in Turkey, in Georgia, where people invite you to their experiences by default, and surprisingly, giant Manhattan felt exactly like that. I just had an example with two girls catching a taxi after their workday, and as soon as I came closer to them, they look at me and start laughing like, oh my god, I feel like such a Carrie Bradshaw when I call a taxi like this. And I was like, I don't know you, why do you even talk to me? And I genuinely think this feeling was multiplied by these snow days. Emotionally, people went back to their childhood when it was fun and exciting to be outside. Play with your kids, neighbors, dogs. Oh, I don't have anything else to say, oh my god. It was absolutely beautiful. And it feels almost impossible, but somehow the day 2 of blizzard was even better. We finally had clear blue skies and sun for the full day. In these conditions, a giant shout out to city administration and people who were cleaning the snow, removing the ice. The transport systems were suffering, so I decided not to give additional load, but luckily Central Park was just 10 minutes away from me, so we're not leaving it. Honestly, what to say, it was just a second day of complete blast and enjoyment, and now with sun warming up my cheeks. It's great. It's just so beautiful. I don't have any script prepared, but it's beautiful. Enjoy the snow in New York with me. I hope you love it as much as I do. When else you gonna see this beauty again? Let's be realistic. You better give this video a like. I also have a big collection of snow sculptures, and oh god, the creativity was top notch. I saw a few cats, a bear. My favorite one is of course a couch. Oh my god, I really wanted to test it out, but at the same time, it's not nice to break it. It's actually crazy how quickly they cleaned up the giant stairs where people were sliding just yesterday. And my closing chapter is just joyful walks around Upper East Side, feeling like Blair Waldorf from Gossip Girl, even though I really doubt that she walks around the city. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of people walking down the avenues, and trust me, I walked a lot. I walked all 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th Avenue, almost up and down. I only use subway twice, to and from the airport. Other than that, it's walks and quite a few buses. I know, you need to be a right type of person to love a bus, but as we learned by this point, I have some mild claustrophobia. Sometimes it's the size of a continent, but I think that's the reason why I don't like to go down the subway. And again, New York subway doesn't look very nice. It also stinks. Not recommended. I know that buses are slow and they share the road with other cars and people. I know it, right? But I wasn't in a rush. I was exploring the city, and you have the view from the bus. You look at New York, goddamn city, no view in the underground. I'm sorry, but they just don't compete in my mind, okay? I finally got a good view on the fake Empire State Building. It's so shiny and nice, but I think it's highlighted even more beautifully at night. I popped to the Grand Central just next to it. It was okay. It wasn't the busiest hours, so I didn't get the nice like train station buzz. It was more like a architecture visit, I would say. And because I'm not afraid of repeating myself, I went down to Soho again and visited Little Italy. And surprisingly, they have this giant, bizarre Christmas shop which is open all year round. And it's full on Christmas. So many trees, Santas, ornaments, decorations. Loved it. Loved the dedication to the theme. And they also sell these pair pigeons from the Home Alone. And I thought, I could get one pair to give to my good friend. But then I saw the price. I think it was like 45. Yeah, that's a bit too expensive for the friendship. I'm absolutely fried after a full day out in New York. But there is the most beautiful sunset now. I'm dying. And as my last bow?
How to pronounce this word as bow to royalty. The bow of a violin.
Last bow. As my last bow to New York City, I went to Guggenheim Museum. At the entrance, they gave me a notice that part of the museum is closed, but I didn't know that that was the main part. Snail, spiral, orange peel. To go up, you could still access exhibitions on each floor, but you couldn't walk on this thing. That was a bit of a disappointment, but they still had some nice art. They had a lot of Kandinsky, which is nice. And I also had the chance to look at how they install an exhibition, which is quite a unique thing. Because the Central Park was just next door, I know you're probably fed up at this point, but I still went there for my final walk. And just at the point when I was saying goodbye and honestly almost crying from happiness and from joy and gratitude, how beautiful this trip was and how accepted I felt by New York City. I saw some park workers on 2 horses. They were so cute. Oh! At that moment, I thought about my favorite phrase, which I think I mentioned in my friend's video. Love life and life will love you back. And I felt that these horses are just my final cherry on top of this beautiful trip. I really hope that you enjoyed this refreshing, chilly chapter in your blooming spring season. Do go and explore the world, even if you're afraid of it. And I see you later. Bye!